then covering some of the basics of TDD. Then we will show experience required for this session. But we need a little bit of coding experience. Or the performance or reliability of something before it is going to production or release, right? Before it is taken into widespread use. By testing, we will make sure that the particular product is having the expected behavior and it is behaving like what we intended, right? So by testing, we can verify that the product is satisfying the requirements that we have given. It is responding to all the inputs correctly, right? And it is having some acceptable performance also. So in software also we will have all the testings before it is moving into the production, right? So if you see the software development cycle, there are multiple stages in the software development cycle, right? So right from the analysis, design and development, then testing and integration. By integration I mean integrating with other applications or sub-functions, and the maintenance. So if you see this testing part, the maintenance part is taking 65% of the total cost of developing software. Meaning it is way more expensive than writing tests or writing codes and all. Anyone from the audience know why maintenance is more expensive than other stages? Any idea?
You have to understand what the previous person has actually done.
Okay.
You actually, if another person is maintaining the code, what the other person has done, you have to understand. In most of the cases, documentation will be very less.
Exactly. So that is one point. There are other challenges also. Anyone else?
Hard to refactor.
Right. Yeah, hard to refactor someone's code, right? Okay. So we'll go through what are the main challenges in maintenance that is causing it is expensive. So first one is code entropy. So over time, all the code bases will be brittle, meaning it will be fragile after some point of time. So because of we are not touching that code part, right? And it will be like it will be more rigid, as like human muscles, right? If you are not using or touching, that will be more likely to break some part of time, and we will be continuously adding new codes without caring what are already there, right? We should maintain that that feature is not breaking by adding new features, right? So this issue was there. And next thing, as you said, isolated ownership. Let's say there is one person is having all the context and he is holding every context in the project or product. Let's say that person is moving out of the team. So no one in the team has context or idea about what is happening inside that app. So if that person is leaving out of that team or project, so it will be very hard to maintain that code, right? And that will cause the lack of team empowerment. So this is also one factor causing that maintenance more expensive. Next thing is infrequent validation. If you are not frequently validating your code, so even we validate our code before it is taken into production, right? Just before release only we will test everything, every feature is working or not. In that case also we will test only what is in the feature is working or not. We will not test that and the edge cases and all. We will not test for just to make it fail. We will not try that things and all. So this will cause regression to happen. So this is one problem that let's say I'm introducing a new feature, so that will break some old feature. Since this risk is there, people will be afraid of making changes to the code. So this is also this will also cause some maintenance maintenance being expensive. So we can avoid. I cannot say we can avoid. We can reduce this maintenance cost to an extent if we have enough strong code. Strong test to back that code, right? So we can. Make it less expensive, the maintenance part. So moving into test-driven development, just we'll introduce what is test-driven development. If you see, focused on that driven part. So test is test is driving that code development, right? So here it is like we are not writing some test to check the code or logic that we have written to verify that code or logic that we have written. So that is not that case. So what we will do in TDD is we will write tests for we will write code to pass the test. So in TDD first we will write the test having the contents meaning I will go with the Martin Fowler's definition of TDD. He says that this is a technique for building software that guides software development by writing tests. Okay, so it's about writing codes to pass the test, not writing tests to fit the code that we want to write. So I will go with an example so that you will get to know easily. So there is I will give some requirements. Requirement is as simple, right? Let's say I have a system. That system will take two numbers, and it will return the sum of the two numbers. Simple problem. So if you get that problem, what I will do first is I will write a test. That's saying I will assume that there is a function called sum of two numbers that will take two numbers. Here it is 3 and 2, and it will return the expected output, that is 5. So this is what I am expecting. Then I will try running this test. So what will happen? It will obviously fail because we have written that code for the sum of two numbers function, right? So if I verify that this test is failing, then I will write the logic for that function, saying that if I get A and B as an input, I will return A plus B. Okay, so if we write that, if we run the test again, it will pass, right? Because we have written the logic. So this is how we follow. This is how we follow TDD. So any questions so far? Cool. Okay. So in TDD, this is how we follow. This is called the red-green refactor cycle. So this is what I said. So first we will write a failing test. Then we will write some minimal amount of code to make that failing test pass, right? So as we did was this part, right? Then we will write minimal code to make that test pass. So that's what they are written in the logic part, right? So if we need, we will refactor that code, and then the new requirements will be done in the same manner. So we will make the test fail, we will make it pass by writing code logic to it, and we will refactor. This cycle will continue. This is how the code evolves. So code evolves in the sense we are not writing code first, right? So by test we are evolving the code, or we are evolving the design. So it is mainly focusing on the design part. Actually, TDD is not primarily focusing on testing or development. So it is focusing on evolving the design, right? So that is main thing here. Any questions? Okay, thank you. So now we will discuss why to practice TDD. What are the benefits that is giving or that is getting from out of that TDD? So there are a couple of benefits, both in the business perspective or in the developer perspective. So in the business benefits are we can verify that all the requirements have been passed, or all the requirements have been met, and regression catching and lower maintenance. This will make lower maintenance costs since we have all the requirements met and the regression is less. Then we can reduce our maintenance costs also. If you look into developer benefits, there are a lot of developer benefits. Starting from short feedback time. Short feedback time in the sense, let's say we are getting all the errors or inputs upfront, so that we don't need to come back again to fix the defects and all. So the defects part and all will be covered by TDD. So that's what I said by edge case testing and all. We will try testing everything upfront. Next is avoid over engineering. So while following TDD, we will not write code that is more than needed. So we just need write a code just to make the test pass. We will not write. Let's say there is an addition function that I am solving. After solving, I thought this is similar like subtraction. I will fix that also. Then I will write the test for subtraction. So this over engineering part will not happen, so that we can avoid more problems out of that. Since we are setting our requirements first by writing test, so we will have better momentum because we are not getting derailed out of the track, right? We are getting more focus, so we will be having some better momentum while developing. Next is confidence. So since our test is backing our code, we'll be more confident that our code will not break. That confidence will get with this format. And next is better focus on the problem. As I said, we are making setting the requirements first, then we are trying to fix that problem, right? So that we will not be derailed from that mission, right? And tests always will be serves as a documentation. If some external person coming into the team and looking into our code, he will easily get what is happening inside this code by reading the test name or test, right? So these all are the main benefits of TDD. Any questions regarding this? Okay. Okay, we will go to next slide. So there are 3 laws of TDD which is mentioned by Uncle Bob. This is saying that you are not allowed to write any production code unless it is to make a failing test pass. So we are not allowed to write more than what we need. That's what it meant by. And the second law is you are not allowed to write any more of a unit test than is sufficient to fail. So while writing test also, we will just write only sufficient to fail. We will not write every conditions at a stretch. Then we will try to fix all the test at a stretch. So this is also, I mean, second law of TDD. Third law is write any more production code than is sufficient to pass one failing unit test. So this is not like we will write all the tests first. Let's say we have 10 conditions, we will write 10 tests first, then we will try to fix all the tests by implementing the code at a stretch. So it's not like that. We will write one unit test, we will make it pass. So these all are the main three laws of TDD. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Now we will go through a simple demo. Surendran. Okay, thank you. Okay, sure.
Everyone aware of the Fishbus problem? Yeah. How many have solved it? How many wrote a program for it? Cool. So let's take this problem and solve it in a TDD way. Let's see how our code evolves step by step. We'll follow the three laws of TDD by Uncle Bob. We'll we will not write a production code unless we have a unit test first. We'll have a failing test case. Then we'll write a production code just to pass the unit test. And we'll again write a test and again we'll write the production code. Let's add a JUnit dependency. So here's our first test. So before writing to the test, so always start with a simplest and smallest solvable problem. That's what Kent Beck also says. So start with a simple problem and then start writing the tests for it. So basically your TDD cycle, it should be like an average of 5 minutes. So you should write a test, solve it and refactor it in 5 minutes. If you go more than that, you will be writing more code. So these are our requirements. So let's take each and every requirement and start writing. So given a number, it should return fish. Like if you give 3, it is fish. If you give 5, it should return bus. if it is divisible by 3 and 5, it should return FISBus. Otherwise, we should get only we should get the same number. Let's start with the first one. Given a number, it should return FIS when divisible by 3. So write the test cases name more elaborate and clear. So we saw previously the test serves as a documentation, right? So anyone comes and see this documentation, they should be able to understand the code clearly. Where? It's there. I think JDK is there. You can see JDK is there. And it's not able to resolve the dependencies. That's not a problem. I think it's not able to resolve the dependencies. Maybe I'll take my laptop otherwise. Backspace is not working. I'll take my laptop.
That link, right? sharing also. Is that your second link? Stop sharing. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Still sharing. Yeah, it's starting. Sharing is still going.
Yeah. Thanks. So let's start writing our test. So we will write enough test to cover this scenario. We will not cover any other scenario in this test. So this is our class FISBus. FISBus.solve. We should given a number divisible by 3. So let's give 6. So we will assert equals this. So now we have a test. So now we will write enough production code to make to resolve the compilation errors. Destination package. So now we have enough code to make the compilation pass. Now we'll go and run our test. Yep. So now our tests fail. Now we go and write enough production code to fix this test. If number is divisible by 3, then return this, else return null. Right. Oh, just hang. Yep. So our next requirement is the number is divisible by 5. If the number is divisible by 5, it should return bus. So it's a separate scenario, so we'll write in a separate test case. So, test should be like atomic, it should cover only one case, it should not cover multiple cases. Should return by 5. Test, we will do the same. This one we will run the tests. It failed. We'll go and add our this one. Else, if number is divisible by 5, then return bus. Again run the test to make sure it passes. Now what's our third scenario? Divisible by 3 and 5 should return Fisbus. Should return Fisbus when divisible by and 5. Let's take the scenario 15. It should return Fisbus. Right? We'll run our tests. It failed. We go and add our implementation. So divisible by 5. Number divisible by 3 equal to 0. Return Fisbus. Now what will happen? Pass or fail? Right. Actually is Fis. So as you see, you write a feedback, you get a feedback for each and every statements you write. So you move this above and write an else case. Now what it will happen? Okay. Some problem if you use keyboard shortcuts, it's taking time. Now we have a simple like we have a Fisbus implementation, right? So actually we have wrote this logic just by driving through the tests. If tomorrow if you want to make any changes, you can be confident like my previous logic doesn't break. And also if someone comes to the team, for them they can directly go on, they don't want to see in the code and see what this if does, what this number divisible by 3 does, etc. They just have to go and see the test and understand the code better. Any questions on writing the tests? So the test, it should, doesn't mean it should contain only the implementations also. You can have your negative cases also covered with the tests. Yeah. So suppose what if you want to check if you should not enter a negative number, the method should not enter a negative case number, then we need to throw an exception. Those cases also we can cover. Exception when number is given expected exception. We fail the test if number less than 0. Throw new negative number. Right, so it passed. So what is the advantage of this test is, tomorrow if we want to refactor this method, right? So if you want to change anything in your code, how will you test? Suppose if you have 10 different functionalities, you made changes in I mean, two different places, how will you test your code? Make sure it works. Right. Are you confident enough to make the changes first of all for the code you have not written? No, right. Suppose tomorrow someone comes, so I see a repeated code here. So I just extracted this method, right? Is divisible by 5. Right, and again I go on read. Okay, so now I don't have to go and manually verify if this code works or not. I just have to go and run the test, and I'm confident my code works. Right. So, any questions till now?
And somehow we accidentally managed to change some code. Let's say some mistake I have made this as 5 or 7, and I didn't know I was developing a new feature. As part of that, I just accidentally did this. Poor. Sorry. Hello. Okay, this is a poor example, but let's say what this happens. After the development, if I run the test, we can see that we have accidentally changed some part of the code, because it will fail, obviously. Right? For that, code coverage is a very important thing to manage in the development, right? So if we have enough code coverage, if we have accidentally changed something which is not expected, then obviously test will fail, so that we will know that some part of the code is wrong by mistake. So we can go there and we can fix that test, right? Yeah, this is also one of the advantage.
And nowadays IDEs provides a feature to test your code coverage. So if you go and click run with your coverage, so it will tell how much features it have covered. So you can see all these green lines are covered, all the red lines are not covered. Maybe I didn't run the test, so it didn't give. So we will talk about what's the ideal code coverage later. So I think we are done with the introduction with TDD. Next we will do a coding exercise. So we will do it like a mock pairing. So one of you will come to the stage and pair with us for writing. We will implement a stack using TDD. So yeah, so one of us will come and pair with us, and the remaining of you will give the input. So what tests to write, what implementation to write. So let's make it more interactive. We'll have a small break and then we will come again. Have around 10 minutes break.
Yeah, we have tea and snacks there. We can please feel free.
Okay, so just one small, like a commercial break advertisement. So, how many of you are first time here in GeekNight? I see a lot of new faces. Okay, cool. Cool. So, formally, wanted to take this opportunity to formally welcome you all. I'm Selva, by the way. I work for ThoughtWorks as well. So, for the newcomers, especially, GeekNight is a forum, like a monthly forum where we meet every month, usually on third Thursdays. But this time, because of elections and others, we moved to this Thursday. So, but usually it happens on every month, third Thursdays. It's a like open forum where it's just for techies in IT industry in Coimbatore, for us to gather and share and exchange and learn from each other, and share knowledge and learn from each other. So it is, of course, primarily supported by ThoughtWorks. Mostly it happens here in ThoughtWorks office, but we are, our objective is to, build a, meetup community in Coimbatore. So Coimbatore is still not there yet, like other cities, like Bangalore or nowhere close to Bangalore, or even like Chennai or other cities in terms of meetup culture. So this is something that we do in every city where we have office in. Like GeekNight happens as we speak. It is still happening in Chennai same time today. They do it on 4th Thursdays, and they are also doing it. Like this, it happens in every city. So like this, we can have talks, workshops. It's not that only we talk, like people from ThoughtWorks talks. The forum is also open for anybody to come and share what you want to. So yeah, please reach out to any of us in the meetup if you like to share. We can support you in terms of shaping the content. If you are first time speaker, you're absolutely welcome, and you can use this as a practice ground for even bigger conferences as well. Anyway, I will not take much of the break time. Welcome again. So we have some tea and snacks arranged here. Restrooms are outside over there. Please help yourselves, and we'll be back in 10 minutes, like 7:10. Is that okay? Any questions? Anybody have any? All right, thank you. Yeah, we'll see you in 7:10. get started? Okay. So before we continue, just wanted to make a few other announcements. So how many of you are JavaScript developers? Call yourself or write JavaScript code? Codes? Sure. Come on, everybody can read and write JavaScript, right? How many of you know about JSFoo conference or attended JSFoo, any of the JSFoo conferences? Have you heard about JSFoo conference? It's like a JavaScript conference. And this time JSFoo is happening in Coimbatore. So yes, so they are the HasGeek, the organization behind this conferences is trying in Coimbatore, and it's one of the first conferences that is happening in our city, I guess. I think it is happening on June 8th, and of course it's our responsibility to make this a successful conference. So yeah, if you are interested, please do attend. And I think we are a little over date for the submission of talks. It just got over last this early week, I guess. But nevertheless, you can still participate and encourage your fellow colleagues, JavaScript developers, to participate as well. So it's a good opportunity, and it's happening in Coimbatore. So let's all make this a success. That is one of the announcements. Other one, Sudhin and Suren, thank you. There are two Surens. We have a nickname for Suren. I was trying to collect the name. Anyway, Sudhin and Suren mentioned we'll keep it as interactive. There are going to be surprise giveaways for the most interactive participants. Right, I guess that is being planned for the first time in the events today. So what it is, it's going to be probably a surprise. I'll keep it at the end. We'll probably announce it at the end. But yeah, if you are for a few active participants, of course, if all of you are active, that's welcome too. So, but for a few active participants, there is going to be a gift voucher at the end. So yeah, it's win-win, right? So you get to do something, learn something, and also get something. So make use of the opportunity.
Thank you, Silva. Now let's start with our implementation of stack using TDD. How many of you know stack data structure? Hope everyone knows stack data structure. So yeah, so this is the requirement we have. Implement a basic stack. User should be push elements to it, and last inserted element should be on the top. User should be able to pop elements from the stack. So let's assume we are going to develop a stack with an integer. Okay. So I'd request any one of you to come and pair with me to write the tests. It's okay. So let's thought of doing it as a mock pairing. So it's going to be interactive. So you come and write code from here. So you will be giving the inputs how to do it. So otherwise you tell me how to do it, then I write the code. Yeah, please. Come on. So we'll write only one test, so then you will switch pairs. So come. So let's go with our requirements. Implement a stack. So first we need a stack object, and then should be able to push elements to it. So what should be our first test case?
So
Stack should contain, I mean, it should hold, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It should hold that integer data type, and
Yes.
we should supposed to able to add new elements to it.
Yeah.
So when we pass an integer, it should, the container should add that, and the size has to be incremented.
Yeah. So our first test case should cover this scenario. Let's start with the test case for that.
Increment size 1, there is a new integer array.
Yeah. So our test should be very much descriptive for others to understand. Yeah. Like think about it's like writing a story, how you write. It's fine. You can change it later also. Cool. Let's keep it as, yeah. What will be the assert here? So we are going to check based on the test, we are checking should increase the size by 1 if the new element is added. What will be our assert? Size is 1.
So we need a
Let's see how this code is evolving. So we didn't write, first we didn't go and write the add method, we didn't go and write the size method. So we see the tests require these methods, right? So based on the requirement and from the tests we are going to rewrite the code.
So if you want to check if it is increased by 1, then we have to take the size from upfront, right? Actual size can increase.
No, it's a new stack, so we can.
Then we should start with size 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is
So now we need to make sure the stack is created with size 0. Everyone agrees with that? Should we test that? Yes or no? Yeah. So we will comment this test. Its size should be 0.
Okay.
I think we need to give capital assert. Alt enter. This is alt.
This one?
Yeah. I think it is assert true. We need to give assert equals. Yeah. Now we are done with the tests. I will implement the code for it. So remember the 3 laws of TDD. We are going, as per the first law, we are writing enough code to make the tests compile. W stack size method. Yeah. Now we have created a stack with a size 0. Do we need any more implementation here? Yes. How many say yes? No? How many say no? Okay, so can you please explain why yes? Yes, correct. But at this point of time, we don't have the test. We have the test only to cover if the size is 0. Right? We have enough code to pass the test. So at this point, we don't need any implementation from this class. Let's go with the second test. Yes.
Yes, because requirement is just to pass the test. So later on we will be refactoring that when it is needed. So till then we will not change that behavior. Requirement is not yet there.
You can add one. Assert equals. Yeah. Result. Okay. Now we need to make this test pass. We need to add one method, tw stack number. To what we will add this number? So before that, let's make fail the test. So at every point of time, we have to make the tests fail. So just to make sure we are writing a valid tests. Now what should be our implementation here, right? And also we need a size method. Okay, so we already have size method. We say we are going to have a int integer stack. What are the possible like data structures we can have here? Arrays, right? Yeah. Array list, integer, numbers, new array list. Now number, we have done some implementation. Now still our tests fail. What we need to do? Yeah. So it's passed. Yeah. So anyone else would like to pair for the next?
Your name?
Karthik.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. So I'd request anyone to come. So our next implementation should be able to pop elements from the stack. So can you please join? Please join. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Yeah. Stack equal to new stack. Yeah. Yeah. Just no, I will help. Dot. So yeah, yeah,
We're just going to get only the last element out
yeah.
since it's a bit right.
Yes. So okay. So the current size is the one which we have. It's before adding the element to the stack.
Yeah.
So it will be like so no. 29 to 30. Okay.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So what's our next step? Implement pop, right? So what pop will return? Okay. Yeah. So now now assume we are going to test only this scenario. It's going to decrease the size by 1. So let's not add the return value for this test case. Void pop numbers dot remove index should be
The current size will decrease it by 1, right, in the test.
oh, sorry.
We got the current size, but we didn't put current size minus 1. We just ignored the current size and the new size.
The pop code numbers dot remove by the index will be the numbers dot size minus 1, right? Perfect. So what's our next step?
Make sure the last term was the first out.
Yep. So let's write a test case for this.
Wants to come in?
So
No,
yeah, your good name?
I wrote test. So
Yeah, please come.
Dinesh.
Mm.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dinesh. So yeah, now we are checking the size of the array. The next test case, we will check the return type from the pop. So basically, we are testing if the pop returns the last input element. So our test case should describe the operation. Check if pop returns the last input, last pushed element. You can copy it from there. Instead of control, this command. Yeah, we can copy the entire method actually. Okay. So now the pop will return a value. Assign it to. Yeah, just yeah. Yeah. Now let there be compilation error. What we are going to assert if the returned value is the last input value. What was the last input value? 1. Expector is returned value. Now let's mark it as a test. Yeah. Yeah. Now we need to resolve the compilation errors. So whenever you are resolving the compilation errors, rely on IDE shortcuts as much as possible. Either Eclipse or IntelliJ. Try with the shortcuts. IDE will automatically generate the code. Here Alt Enter. It automatically suggests make pop to return an int. Okay, cool. We are returning an int. Let's run the test case. Okay, it's failing. Return. Yeah, just to make sure everything works. Yeah. So we are not using this one. We are not using this. Yeah. So that's all. So now we have a basic stack which where we have the size, add method, and a pop method. So now we go back to our requirements. Do we need anything more in this code, or any more tests needs to be covered? Any positive scenarios, negative scenarios you think of? Yeah. 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 Can go.
Probably we can make people who like to write the test
Yeah. So please come stage and
Thank you. Your name?
Akshay Raj.
thank you, Akshay. Now we will write a test to throw an exception when there are no elements in the stack.
Everyone able to follow, right? Right?
Now we have created a new stack. Uh, yeah, we can directly. Now we have created a stack. The stack doesn't have any element. So we'll try to pop an element and we expect an exception.
Legal argument.
No, it's a let's throw a runtime exception. Caps is on dot class. Okay. Oh, so it automatically throwing exception. Maybe the array list is already throwing an exception. Yeah, it will throw array index out of mode exception.
Try some other exception.
Yeah. Let's throw empty stack exception. We'll create one exception class. Empty. Oh, it's already there. Okay. Yeah. This is Fizzbuzz. So here we can check if the number is, yeah, if numbers dot size is 0 equal to 0. Yeah. Stack. Yeah. Quotes. Yeah, it's not accepting any arguments. Let's throw an empty exception for now. Let's run the tests. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, once in a while. Thank you. So now with this we can see how our stack evolves with the help of tests. Right? If you go and see to know what this stack class does, you don't have to go and see the code. You just have to go and see the tests and understand what's happening. That's the advantage of the tests.
Can we write more than one assert in a test case?
If it is related to the same functionality, it's more related to the same assert, then we can write. If it's a completely different one, then better to write a different test cases.
So the best, can I say it's a best practice to keep it down to one assert per unit test?
Yeah, it's best practice, but it's not a hard and fast rule to keep one assert.
Best practice.
Yeah,
Based on our test,
we can write more than one assert.
We did not write any explicit test case for the push method, but the add method. So
Okay.
add method. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Is it necessary, or since we have got the coverage, it's fine, or how is it?
No, it's necessary. It's as much as possible you cover all the cases in the tests.
So now we have from the requirements we were able to arrive at an implementation, but this still doesn't cover all the use cases.
Yeah. So for, like you said, push, you can add some more test cases. We can add some more negative test cases also.
As per the law, like still the array itself like taking that, right? When we adding a new, it is anyway it is going to add in the last element. So does it really require now?
So yeah, it's required because from the stack class perspective, array is encapsulated. So from the outside, we don't know whether it's an array. So tomorrow someone can come and change to something else.
Write a test to ensure that even if we change from array list to something else later,
Yeah, it will help. With that point, whenever we are writing test, we will not write tests to cover any existing classes as it is or any external libraries. So we will write tests to cover what code we write. Even if you are writing single line of code, we will test it. If you are using any other external library, no, we will not test that library. So we will cover some more theory and we will wrap it up.
There is some more requirements. Okay. Due to the time constraints, we will wrap it up with the can soon. Okay, now we will go through ideal qualities of a unit test. So now we have written some tests and we have followed TDD, right? So let's see what are the qualities that we need to have for a unit test, one particular test. Okay, so the first thing is it should be decisive. So if you look at the code, it should have all the infos needed to determine the success or failure, right? Next, important quality is the test should be valid. The case that we are testing should be valid always. So the result matches the intention of the work, right? Next part is it should be complete. A unit test should be a complete one because it should contain all the necessary info needed to run correctly. Okay, and it should be quick. Ideally, a unit test should run within milliseconds. So that is ideal case. That means it is not having enough logic and all. I mean, single concept, or we are testing only single concepts. We can verify with the time taken for the test to run, right? So that is also a quality of a test, unit test. Next is deterministic. So let's say we have a test that is passing now. After 10 minutes, if I run, that is failing, that means it's not deterministic. So if we are running the test repeatedly, it should pass always, right? So that is the other ideal quality of a unit test. And it should be isolated. So if you are writing a test which makes some other functionality or some other test that is, if it is affecting some other test, we cannot say that is an ideal unit test, right? So it should be independent always, and it should be isolate. Next is automated. So each test should need just an some start signal to complete all the tests within finite amount of time, right? So any questions regarding this qualities part?
With respect to the unit tests, you should run within quick. Like for a single project, ideally the unit test should run within 3 minutes in average time, 3 to 5 minutes. So otherwise, what will happen? Developers will not run the test.
Yeah. Okay. So we will discuss some best practices that is being practiced while doing TDD. The first thing is important thing, which is test name should reflect the intent. That's what we are doing in the while hands-on, right? So if you read our test name, so it should be descriptive enough to understand what is happening inside that function, right? Next part is unit test should test a single concept. If you so that's also we have covered in that hands-on part. We will test only a single concept in a single test, right? We have written multiple tests to test the multiple features. For example, push, pop, everything we have added separate tests, right? So that is also best practice to follow. Test code also needs maintenance and readability. It is as important as the production code. Meaning, even test code also, needs frequent validations, and we need to test that code, frequently. Test obvious functionality as well as corner cases. So while testing in the TDD also, we have to test for the edge cases. As we discussed, we said that what if null, if the stack is null and we are trying to pop some value out of that stack, then we should throw some exception, right? That is some kind of edge cases that we need to test, right? So this kind of things will be evolved during during the development. So these are the there are others also. We just covered. These best practices in TDD, right? Any questions, thoughts? Clear, right? Okay. So these are the references that we took for this presentations. If you have any questions, we can have some question answers time. Do you have any specific questions regarding TDD or regarding this event or anything?
I have a question. So, the test cases, right? The scenarios.
Right.
Is it actually decided and written only where the developer is going to develop that particular feature, or how do you guys do it at ThoughtWorks?
Meaning this test you are saying.
Yeah, tests. So you're writing initially tests, right?
Right.
Based on the features.
Right.
So is it written only with the developer who is going to, write the particular code, or do you, have the test cases, like common test cases or corner cases already documented, and then the developer has to write those cases as well.
So developer only, we will only, I mean, write all the tests first. We will have include all the corner cases as well. We will test all the functions, meaning we will have unit tests, having all the corner cases as well. Then only it will go to the QA part. So we will be having all the tests upfront.
Developer is responsible for writing all the test cases and making sure all the tests pass.
Right, as well as the integration part, entire application testing also we will be covering.
What I would prefer to do is like, it's just the test cases are just translation of the requirement document. So probably we have a Jira or something. So if you know what we want to do, we can't directly convert the requirement into a class, but still assume that one feature requires that class, we will start writing them. I would write all the tests so that I implement only first two methods today, and then tomorrow if I come back, I know where to start. Like what are the cases I have done and what is the case I should start with. Otherwise, it's really hard. Typically, like when we come back and it's all blank, and we have to start through the first line of the code again.
Are we looking at 100% code coverage?
Typically, it's good code coverage is 60 or 70 percentage, and we strive to improve that coverage every day. So yeah, and we cannot measure the quality just by the coverage percentage strictly. Say for example, if you take a Java project, you write test for getters and setters, you get a coverage of 40 percentage. So the coverage percentage is not directly convert to the quality, but ideally more than 60 percentage. Yes.
So any other questions, any doubts? Okay. So if you go to codekata.com, you will get some good problems to solve. You can practice TDD over that problems. This site is codekata.com. Okay.
Best way to improve test-driven development is to practice it. Actually, CodeKata has a lot of interesting problems to solve. So you can have a look at it.
Yeah. Okay. So we will leave you with a quote by Uncle Bob that you're not done when it works. So you're done when it's clean. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for attending GeekNight.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.
So
I have sent you a feedback link. Please open it.
Thanks, Sudhin and Surendran. So, we'll be sharing on QR code. Can you all please spend some 3 to 5 minutes to fill out the feedback form? So it will be helpful for us to improve the forthcoming sessions. And there will be a field specifying contact information. Please provide the contact information so that we can make this community a bigger one. You can scan this QR code, or like you can go to the link. So we just did an attempt to do a hands-on. We didn't exactly do a complete hands-on, as you all know. So we thought like it might work out, but we saw like most of the people didn't have their laptops, and because like they come from the work, they may not have laptops or something. So we didn't exactly arrange all the requirements you needed for you to function a laptop. So we don't have a proper table setup. We don't have a charger setup as well. So we are planning to improvise on that. Like we are planning to do Geek Nights over there if we have a hands-on session in the future. So if you have a hands-on session in the future, please do bring your laptops so we all can have a live participation.